Welcome back everyone. Today I'm going to be cutting back this Thryptomene Saxicola. Enjoy. So I bought this tree from Perrywoods, which is a local nursery to me. I had a week off, so I went there during my week off and treated myself to some new trees. And I actually went there looking for maples. I did come away with some, but also they have some really interesting kind of dwarf varieties, and you'll see over the next couple of videos what I bought there as I take you through each one. So as you can see, this one's a bit of a strange one. So all the other versions they had of this were just kind of young seedlings, I suppose, all just like kind of on the floor climbers. Just showing the camera there, the foliage. So this just got really tiny foliage, and it also flowers, I believe. And I've never seen anything like this before, to be honest, so I had to Google it up while I was actually at the nursery. Found out it's like an Australian native, so it's like a rocky kind of flowering, low spreading kind of plant. They grow up to about between 30 and 60 inches tall, and 1 to 1.5 meters wide, so more of a widthy one than anything. It kind of reminds me a bit of a rosemary, just because of the trunk. So the wood looks really old, but yet it's still really thin considering the amount of growth on it. Now, sorry for some of the cuts in this video, basically what kept on happening. So the weather's been miserable for the past week or so here. So I've been having to film inside, and basically it's just a black towel over my TV, so it's the only desk I've got. And then above that I've got kind of like a face light, or a selfie light, and I couldn't get it balanced, so it kept on falling down. I know the light isn't great, and I've got to sort something out for indoors. I need to speak to some people about lighting and try and figure out how I can get that best quality, because this is actually recorded in 4K, but it looks like 720p sometimes. So yeah, so as you can see, there's some growth lower down the tree. I usually try and keep that when I'm growing trees on, just to try and thicken the base up. I'm not sure how these work, to be honest. I'm still doing research on them now. I'm not sure how they react to cutbacks and where they bud from. And I did see something regarding they don't genuinely back bud from old wood. So I'd imagine on that trunk there, I'm not going to get any more budding on there. But we will see. Really thin kind of branches, and small foliage, which, you know, is perfect for bonsai. Although they're kind of grown in a strange way, and they do just kind of elongate. That's why this video is basically me cutting it back very harshly. It kind of looks okay as like a bush type thing now. It looks sort of tree-like kind of naturally. And I'm possibly looking into making this kind of a weeping tree because of the height of it. It's a very feminine kind of tree for now, so I'm thinking about making it kind of a like a fake willow, I suppose, or a false willow. Basically this is all just grown from the tip, so there's loads of tip growth but nothing interior, and obviously that's because, you know, nurseries don't really cut trees back for that purpose. You can see at some point they'd cut off the main stem, but apart from that it's all just kind of elongating. So a pretty racy video, because all I'm doing is just going in, cleaning out, cutting back to interior growth. There isn't any styling going on here. Did take some cutting, so I'll see if they do anything. Again, it's a species that I've never heard of. I know there's quite a few Australian kind of native trees that are good for bonsai, but I've never heard of this one before. So I did a little Google, and I did have a look at if there's any kind of bonsai subjects of this kind of species, and there are some. So I haven't looked online. I haven't seen any with like big trunks. So I'm guessing this isn't a kind of species that grows a thick trunk. As I said, I mean, obviously over time it probably would do. While I'm cutting away there, so Perrywoods is I believe it's like Colchester way, or Tiptree. around Tiptree Way, and obviously if you don't know the southeast of England then, or Essex, then you probably won't know where I'm on about. But if you live anywhere near the southeast or around Essex Way, obviously you can Google that and get yourself down. And they've got some great trees, great species. It's probably the biggest place for maples I've ever seen. A lot of them aren't really bonsai species. I actually picked myself up a little princess, which won't be the next video, or the one after that, probably one after that. I've recorded a lot of videos on my week off, and now I'm just trying to get through editing them all and then uploading them. But yeah, it's a great nursery. I usually go to one called Long Acres, which is just around the corner from me, but it is quite small. So they've limited kind of species, and it's usually, I mean most garden centres are, but they usually just sell kind of very generic kind of garden trees. There's nothing never special in there. You might find the odd, I don't know, yew that's got an interesting trunk, or, you know, as bonsai growers, we kind of, well, I'd imagine other people do the same, where I kind of just go around garden centres and try and look for the ugliest tree and the ones no one else wants to buy. And even with this one, you know, the pot's all smashed up and people probably look at it like, what the hell is that? And to me, that's actually interesting. We don't want straight trunks and boring kind of species usually, so. Now this, although this is an Australian native, it says it's a hardy plant. I believe it grows kind of mountainous kind of regions, like rocky kind of parts in Australia, so the place that do still get very, very cold over winter. Although it'd probably be opposites. You know, their summers when our winter and our winters when their summer. But I'm sure the tree won't know that after a while, so yeah, apparently they can handle down to like -5, -6. That's like most trees kind of thing, especially in a container. Most of my species. Obviously you do get you some hardier ones, which is like junipers and pines, which can handle silly kind of temperatures, but it never really gets below -5 where I am. And even when it does, I've got ways of protecting them, so it should be fine. I'm going to potentially look at adding some wire to this trunk. It is quite flexible, although it's very hardwood. I reckon I could get a little bit of bend in there just to try and make it a bit more interesting. Obviously it's never going to be, you know, the most interesting shape on earth, but as I said before, it is a feminine kind of tree, or that's what it gives to me, so that's what I'll be looking to put, that kind of subtle movement into it, just to make it a little bit more interesting. I've noticed with this tree, when it does branch, it branches both vertically and horizontally, so you might see some branches here that are stacked on top of each other. It's just something that I noticed going around the tree. You kind of get a branch, so say if you've got one branch growing out, you get two growing from that, which is one up, one down. Then the next lot will be left and right, and then up and down, left and right. A bit like a Portugal Afra, longer internodes, and that's why I've cut this back quite hard. Just want to see. There's some branches here I cut it back to no kind of interior branching, and some I'm cutting back to bifurcation, or 2 branches coming from one. I just want to see how it reacts, really. Just want to see if this reacts well to hard cutback. Some species do. Some species will bud from any leaf that's existing, and hopefully this one does. And again, like a lot of trees, if it doesn't end up being anything special in the bonsai kind of way, it's still quite an interesting plant, isn't it? Especially for something in England. So here's a damage can. All the damage that's been done to this one. To be fair, it is quite a lot taken off, but I've taken some cuttings from it as well, see if I can propagate, see if they're propagatable. Some species are, some species aren't. And there's a final look at what we've done for now. So I'll keep you all updated on this one, see how it does over summer, see how it does over winter as well. That'll be interesting, and more to come. If you enjoyed today's content, please make sure to subscribe, like, and hit that bell notification. I'll see you soon.